So today we're very much picking up where we left off yesterday in terms of the energetics that were in effect. We still have Mercury forming an exact square to Pluto today. We also still have Mars in an exact opposition to Chiron today, carrying over some of these same themes from yesterday. But as we head into this weekend, we really are still in this energy of just like gaining some really profound information, penetrating insight, expanded viewpoints that is pushing us to causing us to make some like really internal changes that are affecting the way that we are moving forward and what we are at this point able to let go of and release. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Friday, October 1st. Welcome to October 2021. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook for the weekend. I'm going to be talking about the energetics for today, Friday, energetics for tomorrow, Saturday, and energetics for Sunday. We have some big energetics coming in on Sunday again as well, just to take you through the weekend as we head towards the new moon in Libra that's going to be happening next week, and it's a big one, you guys. So let's jump into the energy for today, Friday, and then we'll go through, talk about Saturday and Sunday. And if you stick with me till the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about the tarot cards that came up for this weekend. And if I have time, I will pull a synchronicity message from Spirit for all of us to help us get through our weekend. So first things first, energetics for Friday. Like I said, you guys, today we are still very much in the same energy that we had yesterday. The past couple of days have been in this really profound window of an ability to really like align with our deepest desires, what's truly in our heart and soul, and be inspired through this like connection to our faith and to the divine, and this process of like imagination and daydreaming that has been really strong in these energies, really helping us to imprint our wishes and our desires that we hold truly in our heart onto the invisible spiritual planes of reality. And then there were some other aspects alongside of that were really helping us to ground those and bring them down and actually begin to manifest and create them in a very tangible physical way. So over the past few days, we really were in this profound window period where universe was really helping us to ground our dreams into reality so that we can move forward along a path that is ultimately going to be much more fulfilling to our authentic soul. But through this process, we are also having to make a lot of really deep, intense personal changes in terms of our belief systems and what we're understanding. There's a lot of information that has been coming up. We have Mercury Retrograde right now, so we're going back and reevaluating a lot of things. And because of the aspects that Mercury is making, we're gaining a lot of information that potentially has been hidden under the surface of things. And this is really having this profoundly transformative effect on us. And it's really expanding our mind and our understanding and our perception of life and reality and what is going on in our circumstances generally. And this process is causing us to make these really deep and profound internal transformations. And it's like we're on this journey to sort of like alchemize and metamorphosize and transfigure and transform from what we once were into a higher, more evolved, more liberated, and more in alignment version of ourselves so that we can move down this path of, that's leading towards this authentic personal fulfillment so that we can truly begin to cultivate and develop our potential, so that we can come into our self-mastery and our own self-empowerment, so that we can truly begin to serve the greater good with everything that we've attained through that process and help others along the way as well, and give what we have gained through our process of self-empowerment and self-mastery. So that is sort of like the overall goal of the energetics as we move through. But today, we do still have Mercury retrograde in an exact square to Pluto at 25 degrees of Libra and Capricorn. And we also still have Mars today at 11 degrees of Aries in an exact opposition to Chiron at 11 degrees of Mars is at 11 degrees of Libra, opposing Chiron at 11 degrees of Aries. And if you missed my report from yesterday, you're definitely going to want to go back and watch that one, because I really talked very specifically and in detail about these two specific aspects that are still carrying over. But generally, when Mercury is in a square to Pluto, and this is the second square from Mercury to Pluto. Mercury squared Pluto on his way to stationing retrograde, and then Mercury stationed retrograde and has come back a few degrees, creating the second square to Pluto. Mercury will continue to go backwards, and then when Mercury goes direct, he will start moving forwards again and make a third square to Pluto. So this is sort of, this square that we're in now is sort of like the 2 of 3 in this process that we're going through of really having some profound mental transformations in terms of our ideas, in terms of how we're thinking, in terms of how our thought processes are working, really giving us an opportunity to see under the surface of things, see down into some root issues, and go through this process of regenerating and transforming the way that we are thinking about our lives, our circumstances, and reality. And so we're, like I said, step 2 in this 3-step process. And we're in the process now of going back, reevaluating, gaining new information. And then when Mercury goes direct, moves forward again, it makes this third square. It's really going to sort of like finalize the process of these mental transformations that we're going through during this period of time. And so this is a very strong and powerful aspect that is really uncovering some deep root issues and exposing things so that we can see, we can transform, we can regenerate, we can really be reborn with a fresh perspective, moving forward down our new path that is leading us to a much more evolved and liberated form of fulfillment that's truly in alignment with our own personal authenticity. Also, Mars in the opposition to Chiron. Chiron is the spirit, is the wounded healer teacher archetype. It rules the hero's journey. It rules alchemizing things. It rules basically like going through this transformational process, again with the transformation and the regeneration from essentially a state of victimhood into a state of self-understanding, self-mastery, self-empowerment, and then being able to use that wisdom gained through experience to help other people go through the same process who are on the same path, on the same hero's journey. And over time, this process helps us individually and collectively to clear our trauma and to come into our own personal self-mastery, into our own personal self-empowerment so that we can go ahead and head towards that path of personal fulfillment. It's all working together. And so this aspect, I talked a lot about this yesterday, like I said, and generally because the sun is also in a conjunction, and actually over the weekend, the sun will move on Sunday to that 11 degrees of Libra and form the exact opposition to Chiron. So the sun is right there too. So this is really sort of like the sun and Mars at this point in time, even though Mars is making the exact activation today. On Sunday, the sun will be making the exact activation, and the sun and the Mars energy are really very blended right now. But generally, overall, this is having people fired up to defend themselves and taking action. This has a lot to do with health, healing, money, finances, and we could be seeing like some people who feel the need to be aggressively defending their healing or their healing processes right now. Fights or conflicts over health and healing. Defending children is also a major theme in this because Chiron rules early childhood. And it also could bring like financial upheavals, financial like situations happening in financial markets. And again, this really is just activating collectively the hero's journey, like archetype and experience in all of us right now. It's like all of us to some extent, while this aspect is being highlighted and activated, it's really triggering all of us to go through this process of self-examination, like getting to the root of our issues, our core wounding, learning about it, figuring out how to heal it, how to grow from it, how to overcome it, and go through the process of turning our victimhood into an experience-based wisdom that leads us towards self-mastery and ultimately self-empowerment. So these two aspects still in effect today. And overall, the energy on Friday is really trying to get us to the root of things, to the root issues, helping us to see that so that we can acknowledge it, learn about it, and begin to go through this process of healing and transcending, which is leading to this vastly expanded understanding of things that is really correlating to this wisdom gained through this experience. So that's sort of how that is playing out collectively. The other aspect that we have going on Friday is that we have the moon in early Leo is going to be coming into an exact opposition with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. And if you remember, 2 days ago on Wednesday, one of the primary aspects that was involved in this window that was opening, that was really helping us to manifest our dreams and bring our dreams into reality, ground our dreams into reality, and begin laying the foundation for that path that is leading to this fulfillment that universe is really trying to urge all of us down right now. Well, that was involving Saturn making a trine to the sun. And today we have the moon coming into an opposition with Saturn. And so right now, this aspect is really helping us and having us reflecting on our process now and the work that must be done in order to follow through on this process of manifesting our dreams into reality that began a couple of days ago. So it's like we may possibly be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by this with, the prospect of the process that this will take and the work that we may need to do in order to really start moving down this path and moving in this direction. But, it's something that we really do need to do. It's a duty that we do need to follow through on if we want the outcome that is promised to us if we go through this process. So it's sort of like now we do the work. Now we trust the process that began over the past few days. And this really has a lot to do, in terms of the manifestation with really acting our faith, preparing for those intentions that we set to come to us, acting as though, feeling as though, behaving as though they're already here, and beginning to work and act and build in our lives as though that process was already complete, even though we may not perceive it yet in our physical reality. So we're getting down to business today with the moon in an opposition to Saturn after the energetics that we're coming out of this week. And, moon opposing Saturn, this gives an ability to, really put some effort into working hard on things. It can also feel, like I said, a little bit emotionally overwhelming, a little bit emotionally heavy, but we are having, this is giving us an opportunity to really reflect on the process that we started and to align with it emotionally and to commit ourselves to that process and, the work that needs to be done in order to move down this path. So we have that moon aspect going on as well on Friday. So on Friday, we're really just carrying over energetics from Thursday. Again, if you missed my report from yesterday, check that out because it will give you more clarity and insight into what is carrying over today on Friday. But then we do have the moon coming into that opposition with Saturn. So it is time to get down to business. We are working on things on Friday. Moving into Saturday, we have another moon aspect coming through today. And we also have Venus, who is going to be coming into an exact aspect with Pluto. Also, we have Mercury retrograding back to 24 degrees of Libra. This takes him out of exact square to Pluto, but it actually puts him right in the middle of the exact square to Pluto and an exact trine to Jupiter. So this, again, we've already had this aspect before Mercury went retrograde. We've already experienced this energy once, and it's very much about just this penetrating insight, Mercury and Pluto, that's expanding our understanding, expanding what we're learning, expanding our perception, Jupiter and trine to Mercury. So this is in effect again on Saturday. And the aspects alongside of it, like I said, we have two of them going on. We have the moon in Leo, who will be coming in mid to late Leo on Saturday. We'll be forming an opposition to Jupiter while Mercury's in the trine to Jupiter, and also a square to Venus. And so with the moon in an opposition to Jupiter and squaring Venus, this is going to have us reflecting on the changes that we need to make to align with the deep and true desires of our heart in a very big and expansive way. We are likely to be feeling quite optimistic and confident in our abilities to make these changes, even if it brings a lack of comfort in relationships or challenges in relationships. It's like at this point in time, we're basically ready to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. And we're kind of accepting that these changes may make us uncomfortable, may bring up some tension, some conflict, specifically in relationships and finances, partnerships, but we have to go through this process and we're actually feeling okay about it. We're having some faith and some confidence and some trust and some belief in ourselves and in the universe. And it's almost like we're sort of willing to rock the boat a little bit because we know that we've just come to a point where we can't carry the burden any longer. And we really need to move down this new path. We are very clear on what's deeply important to us today under these energetics on Saturday. And we are seeing through the facades of things and wanting to break through and break up things blocking us. And we have the faith and the confidence to do it. The Sabian symbols that are in effect on Saturday for these aspects, we have Venus at 25 degrees of Scorpio. This Sabian symbol is an X-ray photograph. And we also have Jupiter at 25 degrees of Aquarius. This is a big bear sitting down, waving all of his paws, or 23 degrees of Aquarius, sorry. And like I said, Venus will be making an exact aspect to Pluto today. This aspect is a sextile. It's sort of like the trine. Sextiles, it's ease and facilitation and things sort of falling into place. And this is happening between Venus and Pluto. So it's like we really are integrating our true value with this. We're seeing into the depths of our heart and our true value and really recognizing and beginning to step into the power that we hold within us. The Sabian symbols are very interesting for Saturday. I'm just going to read you the Sabians of all the personal planets before I move on and talk a little bit more about the energy for Saturday, just because the Sabians are really kind of telling a story on Saturday. We have the Sun at 10 degrees of Libra, a canoe approaching safety through dangerous waters. We have the Earth at 10 degrees of Aries, a teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. We have Venus at 25 degrees of Scorpio. Like I said, this degree is an X-ray photograph. We have Mercury at 24 degrees of Libra, a third wing on the left side of a butterfly. Mercury has been at this degree and was at this degree for a few days. You may remember it from my reports over the week or last week. And then we have Mars at 12 degrees of Libra. Miners are emerging from a deep coal mine. So again, you guys, today we have Mercury at 24 degrees of Libra, Pluto's at 25 degrees of Capricorn, Jupiter's at 23 degrees of Aquarius. So it's really sort of wedged right in the middle of this square to Pluto and this trine to Jupiter, not exactly aspecting either of them, but only 1 degree off from both. So this aspect is very blended energy today. And again, Mercury, Pluto, and Jupiter. This is secrets revealed leading to a greatly expanded understanding of things. And that is coming with today's energetics. And again, this is part 2 of a 3-part process and gaining this really deep, profound insight that is totally transforming the way that we're understanding and perceiving what is going on. Energy, the way that I'm perceiving it, especially via the Sabian symbols on Saturday, it's all about what we've learned and seen on our pursuit through the shadows. All of this Pluto energy, looking behind the curtain, the danger or fear around what we might discover or the discovery process in and of itself is clearing. A canoe approaching safety through dangerous waters. We are looking at things in an entirely new way. A teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images and seeing options and ideas that we never knew were possible or existed. A third wing on the left side of a butterfly. We're gaining clarity and certainty in this and seeing things in a new way. We're seeing through things. Venus at an X-ray photograph, helping us to transform, let go, and move towards what we truly want and desire in our lives based on this value that we are finally perceiving and know that we have inside of us. Venus at an X-ray photograph and Pluto at a store filled with precious oriental rugs. We are seeing the precious value of what we truly hold inside the deepest, the deepest levels of our heart. Really coming through with this. and miners emerging from a deep coal mine. It's like with all of this Pluto energy, we really are being forced to stare into the darkness and see what has been hidden there. And what we're finding there is really changing everything for us. That is the name of the game in the process of this energetic unfoldment this weekend. And then we move into Sunday. Sunday is a big energetic day again. We have a few different things going on. On Sunday, we are going to be having the sun, like I said, in a conjunction to Mars, coming into an exact opposition with Chiron. On Sunday, the sun will move to the 11 degrees of Libra while Chiron is at 11 degrees of Aries. So the sun will form the exact opposition on Sunday. We also are going to be having Mercury retrograding back to 23 Libra, now bringing Mercury into the exact trine with Jupiter. So this is mind blown, expanded knowledge for the second time, part 2 of the process. Again, we've already had this aspect once when Mercury was direct moving towards stationing retrograde. Now Mercury has moved retrograde and is make this aspect for the second time. Mercury will move backwards through Libra, then it will go direct and it will come and it will make this aspect again. So this is step 2 out of this 3-step process of just gaining tremendous amounts of expanded understanding, learning so much, gaining so much information. And then we also are going to be having the moon in Virgo squaring the nodes on Sunday as well. The north and the south node, this is directly related to the path ahead and what we have to release in order to get there. With the moon coming in square, we're going to be making some breakthroughs in the direction that we need to be going, and conflicts or tension or something that comes up triggering us to be able to make and release some of the things that we need to let go so that we can walk down this new path. So with the sun, just to come back to the top of this list of transits that's happening on Sunday, with the sun at 11 degrees of Libra in a conjunction with Mars, 2-degree orb still. This is inching closer and closer by the day. In that opposition to Chiron, this is volatile financial markets, spiritual transformation, healing, and growth on really deep levels, overcoming trauma and wounding collectively. Also, this could trigger trauma or wounding in relationships, partnerships, and finances specifically because it's the sun and Mars are both in Libra ruling these things. So this energy could also be triggering us on this hero's journey by any wounding or painful experiences that we are facing right now in regards to these Libra themes: finances, money, relationships, partnerships. Also, Libra rules like vendors and shopping and stuff like that. So this could also have something to do, with work as well, or your whatever you do for a job could be bringing up some type of conflict as well, or some type of wounding through like a financial situation via a job or something as well. Also, this is explosive behavior and reactions, particularly I'm thinking, again, in regards to finances, relationships, partnerships, but also defending health, healing, and children. Major, major Chiron themes. People being angry and fired up about wanting to push or experience their perceptions of what is necessary to heal. There's a very specific reference with Libra to like two sides of things, two sides of the story, the different scales, weighing of the scales. And with this, it's like I'm almost feeling like, we're living in a very polarized environment right now. People really have very two different perceptions of reality based on what they're resonating with and where they're coming from energetically at this point in time. And it's almost like these two sides are sort of wanting to like aggressively assert their version of what is needing to heal. And it may really be bringing up some conflict again, especially in relationships, partnerships, with financial situations. And also we may see this in like the news or the media being broadcast information, conversations, socializing, friends, stuff like that, because it is the sign of Libra and Libra is an air sign. But you guys, this is also very spiritually empowered to transcend our current circumstances, and it is activating the hero's journey collectively for all of us. This aspect may really be pushing all of us to get on that path of the hero's journey, which is transforming our current state of victimhood into a state of self-empowerment and self-mastery through this very profound and painful and difficult process of self-realization, self-analyzation, and really figuring out, again, the root of our problems. And we have so much assistance with these Pluto aspects going on, helping us to do that. And, figuring out the root, figuring out what we truly need to heal through this process of learning, gaining wisdom through our experience, overcoming these things, coming back to stand in our true power, and then showing other people how to do the same things for themselves. So in this also, this hero's journey is such a fundamental part of our transition into the age of Aquarius, because Aquarius really is about helping us to maximize our own unique, individual, authentic, personal potential so that we can ultimately serve it to the greater good of humanity. Aquarius, it is very much about being the unique, special individual and recognizing your own unique talents, abilities, and gifts, but it's for the purpose of cultivating and growing those so that you can then go and serve them to the greater good, to the greater whole. That's sort of how the dynamic of that energy works. Aquarius gets like the reputation of being the rebel and like wanting to really like do its own thing and not following the rules and resisting, any type of like conformity and stuff like that. But it is because it is all about this quest to embrace self-authenticity so that you can grow that, maximize that, and then give it back. It's like everybody has their own little unique special piece that no one else has. And unless you can really value that and cherish that and cultivate that, all of humanity is missing out on what you can contribute. And so as we move into the Aquarian energetics, universe is really calling all of us to come back into our authenticity, rediscover ourselves, rediscover that bit of unique spiritual potential that exists in all of us, develop that, cultivate that, come into our self-mastery and our power, and then use that to give back. And through that process of all of us doing that, it really is this mass transformation. And that is why we are having to go through all of these very deep metamorphoses right now, is to push us in that direction so that we can do that, so that we are really truly fulfilling our destinies collectively and giving to each other based on what God has given to us. That is where we're going, and that is why we're going through so much difficulty right now to get there. Again, moving on, we have Mercury retrograding to 23 Libra today. This puts him into that exact trine with Jupiter. It is a whole new day, you guys. Mercury is retrograding back to that degree. Chanticleer's voice heralds the rising sun with exuberant tones. So this is a whole new day, a freshly expanded perspective and viewpoint on things, learning a lot about what has gone on behind the scenes. And Jupiter and Mercury, this gives a very positive mental space today. We should be feeling, sort of mentally uplifted and having, faith and confidence in our mind, the way that it's working and the things that we're understanding, and really integrating what we've learned up until this point as well. And then we have, like I said, the moon in Virgo, early Virgo, will be forming a square to both the north and the south node. This is helping us to make breakthroughs in terms of moving away from past beliefs that held us back, learning new things, and helping us to move forward, embrace the path leading to our joy, fulfillment, and blessing. So this aspect with the moon and square to the nodes. It is a square. This creates conflict. This creates tension, but it's for the purpose of helping us to make a breakthrough. We are breaking away from the south node in Sagittarius, old belief systems, old understandings that have really kept us in sort of like a prison and not allowed us to pursue this path of true creative personal self-expression and aligning with our authenticity so that we can begin to receive this fulfillment that fills our cup up so that we can go through this process of maximizing our potential and serving and giving to others and the greater good, the greater whole of humanity. This north node, south node being activated and triggered by the moon today is definitely helping us step down a new path and move away from the things that we need to let go of. But it may bring up some conflict or some difficulty in that process, but it's for the purpose, for the point of making these breakthroughs. So that is really what we are dealing with on Sunday. And the main real big emphasis on things right now is really this sun in conjunction to Mars, and this is a really big energetic. This is going to be moving us through next week when this aspect will come exact. We are also going to be having the new moon in Libra next week that is going to be an exact conjunction to Mars. This is going to be a very powerful, unpredictable, fiery new moon. There'll be a lot to say about that, but really, you guys, over the course of this weekend, it really just is about this whole process of gaining this very deep insight that's expanding our minds, that is like pushing us into this process of metamorphosis and transformation and aligning with the path that is moving us towards the dreams that we started to bring down from the spiritual planes into the physical planes of reality through the manifestation window that was available to us this week. So that's really what we have going on for the energetics this weekend, you guys. In terms of the tarot for the weekend, I did do that as well. I was shuffling the cards this morning, asking for the message to clarify the collective energy for the weekend, and we had 2 cards come out. The first card was the 4 of Cups in reverse. And the second card was the Fool. And on the back of the deck, we had the Wheel of Fortune. So generally, the 4 of Cups, this is about, well, when I was taught tarot, when I learned tarot, I was taught that this card had a lot to do with not accepting magical gifts, like turning your back to your intuition, like not looking at and accepting and taking the things that are being offered to you, that are being handed to you. But it's sort of like turning your back to spirit, sort of, in a way. But with the 4 of Cups being reversed, this is like we're not doing that. We are actually accepting the spiritual gifts, the magical gifts, the information, the insight, and the feelings, the connection that is coming to us. We're accepting it. We're not pushing it away. We're acknowledging it, and we're taking it, and we're grasping it. Why? So that we can begin an entirely new journey. And that is all what the energy was about this past week, was helping us to manifest our greatest wishes and hopes and aspirations and dreams so that we can go on a real, fresh, brand new journey to personal fulfillment. And that is what these cards are talking about right here. Embracing the magic and stepping down on a new path. And that is also the energetics for Sunday, with the North Node square. We are embracing the magic, we are transforming, we are opening to the spiritual gifts, we are following that guidance so that we can walk down an entirely new path. And it is the Wheel of Fortune. It is whatever we want it to be. It is whatever we're aligning with. It is whatever wishes, hopes, dreams that we are aligning with vibrationally. And that is the process also that we have been going through this past week with that really powerful manifestation window that opened. Now I have just a few more seconds. I am going to draw a synchronicity card for all of us for the weekend and see what it says. This is so weird. This is the exact same card I drew yesterday. That is so bizarre. Obstructions removed. Rest in me. I have gone ahead and removed every stone. God has gone before you and removed every obstacle. Any obstacle you now perceive is a product of your own imagination. Let go and let God lead you. There is no wrong action. There is only right action. Follow the leads which come to you. And that's what we got, guys. Have a beautiful weekend and come back